Turn that radio down, turn that radio down. The picture's about to come on, Jet. What picture you talking about, Billy? I'm talking about Anderson Beagles. Hurry up, get in the car, let's go! Frustrations in the offseason. What's going on, guys? Tyson Anderson, Mr. Hammer Down. Listen, guys, who will dive right in. Whether you're dealing with puppies in the offseason, raising those little mongrels to be big and strong and healthy, you're trying to find the right type of dog food or feed that will sustain them and maintain them, cause them to continue to snowball and transmogrify, just gather and continue to go on to collar breaking the dog and getting that dog under full control, lock and key. It's a lot of different things that have to go into the studying of the breaking of a dog, the development of the dogs, and of that of yourself. The off season is what I always say, and for those that have followed, have heard me say, is for the on season for those that are trying to pinpoint exactly where the dog messed up. Like I said, whether it's deer breaking puppies, trying to gather that dog into a better headspace to perform and gauge that dog, assess that dog or those dogs, you have to put yourself outside of yourself for a moment to see exactly what it is they need. It's easy to get sidetracked because of the heat. That's one of the elements. Elements. It's hard to pinpoint yourself as far as focus, placement, if you don't have the exact place because of snakes, because of baby rabbits always getting gobbled up and so forth. So many different things. I didn't want to sort of structure this like a typical study lesson of how I would usually go in, but I did want to pinpoint certain things and hit those things and move. I believe that if we are to overcome these frustrations, heat, our own knowledge of the hounds, placement and time, maybe not being able to get out there in the evening time because you work a first or second shift job, can't get out there in the evening time when it's starting to be get into the cool of the day. And when I say day, I don't mean daytime. Day, I mean as in the 24 hours that you have to be considered one day. Okay. All of those things have to be assessed. And so we know if we can handle what we are biting off. If we know we ourselves know if we can chew those things that we bite off, if we can process those things that we have bitten off, and so forth. If we can digest those things that we have bitten off, we must get into that place where the frustrations of the off seasons and in the off season does not or do not bind us to being stationary, stuck, or complacent. Okay? It's a must that as we assess, as we analyze, that we are not burdened with the affairs of those weighty things, those weighty obstacles, those treacherous turns that we have to go in and out of to embrace the fullness of the learning curve. The learning curve is a double-edged sword. It's one that cuts on both one side and it cuts on the other. It sharpens the dog and it sharpens the dogger. It sharpens the hound and the houndsman. It sharpens and equips the handler and the handled. Okay? It's a must that we go and find ourselves, as we often say, soul search yourself in the off season, because it's going to be times where everything is not going to be just as you would have it to be. Okay, there's going to come times where you're going to have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go run dogs. You're going to have to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning to go run dogs. You're going to have to change up times and run at 10 o'clock in the evening to go run dogs. You're going to have to go and run over here because it's not as thick. Snakes can't be as vibrant and outspoken in their visual and in their physical appearances on certain properties as over here in this place. You're going to have to be strategic in your approaches. That you don't grow weary in well doing. Excuse me. You're going to have to position yourself for success. Because if you don't, the frustrations of the off season, will bind you up, chew you up, and spit you out. You have to be so mortally careful. You have to watch as well as plan. You have to plan as well as execute. You have to execute as well as have revelation at the end of that execution and assess what you did. Did I fail in my approach? Did I fail in my execution? Did I fail in my conclusion? Is the end product turnkey? At the end of the day, we're all trying to turn puppies around. We're trying to turn grown dogs around. We're trying to prepare ourselves for the hunting season. We're trying to prepare ourselves for the trialing season. We're trying to prepare ourselves to prepare others. We're trying to get ourselves under thumb so that we get the pulse of the passion into proximity. We really want to be effective. We should be. We shouldn't be wanting to be effective in our efforts. But the frustration of all of that is trying to find the successor in the off season. You get so frustrated, don't know which way to go. You have to have the proper voice in your ear and in your corner, telling you to go forward, telling you to stop, telling you to slow down, telling you to cut down on some of those dogs, telling you to cull, to run harder, to back up on your hardness, to be softer, to be this. You have to have that person. So there's really no A, B, C, D, E. I want you just to play this thing back and forth, and use common sense in your assessment. Because the off season is not for everybody, but it is for somebody. And if it is for you, if you choose to select yourself and auto fill in the blank, that I am the person that needs the off season. I am the he, the she that is standing in the need of completion, buffeting, polishing, finishing out. Maybe you're not turnkey. Maybe you have to go back to the drawing board. The master of the masters understands that if I'm going to be relevant and I'm going to be in this thing, I have to be assessed. I have to be taught, and I have to keep the position of a student. Because the frustrations of the off season, the heat, the baby rabbits, the snakes, the ticks, the fleas, the this, the that, all of those things are working together a far more exceeding glory. Why? And what am I saying? What are you saying, Anderson? I'm saying that at the end of the day, what are we training for? What are we working toward? The hunting season. That's right, the hunting season. You can't wait till the last time and last moment before you say, hey, man, you know what? I think I want to go forward in embracing the off season. You can't practice once or twice a week and think you're going to beat Michael Jordan. It's not going to happen. So what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to embrace the frustrations of the off season. That's why a lot of people don't run in the off season, because it's hot. They got ticks, they got fleas, they got this, they got that. They don't want to run out there in the off season. They want to deal with those things. But guess what? At the end of the day, hunting season, that opening date, the end of the deer season, all of those things, everything that you do in the off season shall pay off if you stay with it. Don't get frustrated. And if you get frustrated, find ways to channel your energy. Find people you can call to and talk to and glean to. You can lean on. You shouldn't always be one being leaned on. Sometimes people, let me close on this. Sometimes people can be your biggest hindrance in the off season because you can hook tail and kiss tail and hook up with the wrong people. And the wrong people can keep you lesser. Don't be the one that's being pulled down by the crabs in the bucket. And don't you be a crab pulling down the people that's trying to get out of the bucket. Hey, just my mind. Listen, guys, I want you guys to stay tuned to what's getting ready to take place here on the home front. Listen, School of the Hard Knocks is wide open. We're taking in students right now. If you guys have questions, comments, or complaints, 252-481-3014. Oh, and I almost forgot, Buck is leaving us, so let's hear what Mr. Bryson has to say about the end result of this third time being a charm. Here he is. What's going on, guys? Tyson Anderson, Mr. Hammer Down. Listen, guys, we got this young man back out here, Buck's owner. I told you guys the third time the charm. We finally got this dog down here with a lot of ground time, a lot of hours, a lot of miles. Got about 8 hours on last night. I would assume about 14, 15 miles. He's packing good. He's not coming out. What do you think, Mr. Bryson?
It's awesome because I couldn't get him to do it in 3 years. So, he did it in, a month?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I couldn't be happier and see what he can do going forward. Finally got him staying in there a little bit longer with other dogs.
Yes, sir. In other words, guys, y'all hind parts better be right when trial season comes this fall because we're going to have this dog at speed and drive. Y'all stay tuned. Thank you so much, Mr. Bryson. Thank you, sir.
I was driving through Georgia in late July on a day